Like many communities in the American West, the city of Boulder, Colorado saw a surge in growth following World War II. Many of those coming to the city were returning soldiers, lured by jobs, the picturesque environment of Boulder, and the educational possibilities provided by the University of Colorado. The period between 1947 and 1967 witnessed unprecedented growth and the transformation of a quiet town of 18,000 at the foot of the Rocky Mountains to a bustling city of 60,000. In 1947, enrollment at the University of Colorado swelled, and Boulder experienced an extreme housing shortage. To serve the need, makeshift housing like Vetsville at the corner of Arapahoe Avenue and 24th Street popped up around the city. Local developers like the Hudson brothers soon began construction in the Newland neighborhood of North Boulder to meet the city's housing needs. At about 800 square feet, the average house was small, but well-built and functional. In 1948, construction began on the Sunset Hill subdivision in the area previously known as Lover's Hill. With wide curving streets, the new neighborhood created quite a stir in Boulder. A 1949 newspaper account noted that 3,000 people attended an open house in the Sunset Hill subdivision on a single day, and described the area as the, quote, most sightly in Boulder, commanding a fine view of the mountains, the valley, and the University of Colorado. In 1951, construction of the Boulder Turnpike, or U.S. Highway 36, ended the city's relative isolation at the edge of the Rocky Mountains. During its first year, an average of 5,000 cars per day traveled the four-lane highway, more than twice the 2,200 cars per day estimated prior to its construction. Within a year, a subdivision for 330 low-cost houses adjacent to the new highway was planned, and construction began on the Martin Acres neighborhood. Features of the new neighborhood included a modern curvilinear street layout and easy access to the turnpike. Costing about $13,000 each, homes featured built-ins, birch cabinets, hardwood floors, and modern Kelvinator appliances. A 1955 Boulder Daily Camera article profiled a new family residing in the Martin Acres subdivision. Quote, "The Cooleys are new residents at 205 38th Street. Mr. Cooley is a pilot with United Airlines flying Convairs out of Denver. Mrs. Cooley was a stewardess until 1954. The Cooleys are typical of the many new families moving into Martin Acres houses, many of them also new Boulder residents." 1954 saw the opening of the Bureau of Standards by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now known as the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the Bureau was strategically located next to the Highland Park and Martin Acres subdivisions. A number of other research and development industries, including Ball Aerospace and Beech Aircraft, also set up shop in the Boulder area during this period. Often related to university research activities, these new industries attracted well-educated white-collar workers from around the country. In 1954, a more ominous industry set up shop 8 miles south of Boulder. The Rocky Flats Nuclear Weapons Factory, by 1959, employed over 600 Boulder residents at its top-secret facility. The 1950s was also a period of rising awareness of both the natural and constructed environment in Boulder. In response to explosive growth, the citizens of Boulder passed a plan to manage its growth. The Blue Line, as it came to be known, protected views of the foothills by prohibiting water surfaces to properties above an elevation of 5,900 feet. Residential development continued to boom into the 1960s, and other now familiar areas of Boulder began to take root. For example, development began in the Table Mesa neighborhood in 1962. Perhaps the city's largest and most diverse post-war subdivision is characterized by a variety of house sizes and types set along wide curving streets running across a gently undulating landscape and dramatic mountain backdrop. Larger houses built in neighborhoods like Table Mesa and Park East reflected the rising affluence, optimism, and easy living of the early 1960s. By the end of the 1960s, Boulder's expansion began to slow, in part because of a voter-initiated greenbelt around the city. Today, residential buildings constructed between 1947 and 1967 make up about 30% of the city's building stock. The survey of these neighborhoods and their architecture, which provided the information for this video, was undertaken to better understand this important era in the city's development. It provides a fascinating look at Boulder's boom years. The study's information will help inform reviews currently required by the Historic Preservation Ordinance for the demolition of any building more than 50 years old. But more importantly, it will help inform the community's conversation about the past, present, and desired future of these important neighborhoods. To find out more about Boulder after World War II and to access the full report, visit our website or call the city's Historic Preservation Program at 303-441-3207.